Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Maria Lourdes P.A. Sereno, Chief Justice of the Republic of the Philippines.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that we can take this occasion for me to be able to share with you a vision of the future in the judiciary that awaits the Filipino public. So we are fast-tracking the dispositions of new petitions now.
Today on Rappler,
We are trying to depoliticize the system of appointments and selection and training and assignments as much as possible. Because the idea is that it is up to the judiciary that who must to establish the gold standard for public service.
Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno calls for a depoliticized judiciary. The Philippine economy grows 6.4% in the second quarter of 2014, the second fastest in Asia. And President Aquino sees himself out of office by 2016.
Hello, I'm Natasha Gutierrez. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno invokes the principles of dignified silence and depoliticizing the judiciary when asked about the High Court's falling out with the President Benigno Aquino. She also evaded answering questions on the last-minute inclusion of now Associate Justice Francis Hardaleza in the shortlist of nominees. Sereno says the judiciary is exerting more effort to depoliticize the entire system.
If we do not involve ourselves into the muck and rake of politics, then democracy has a better chance of surviving in the country. In other words, on a day-to-day basis, we attend to our duties. We ensure that cases move forward. We are able to somehow arrive at a minimal backlog of the cases. Things are speedy. All the funds are judicially audited by the COA, not only when there is public attention to a particular project, but on a daily basis, COA auditors are fearless. We are supposedly, and we should be, the most depoliticized high constitutional officers. And because this is
Sereno reiterates a principle she laid out when she assumed office. She says the judiciary needs to practice greater restraint than the more outspoken legislators. Sereno's stance is in stark contrast to her predecessor, ousted Chief Justice Renato Corona, who regularly made speeches and gave interviews that lashed out at the executive.
But the Chief Justice cannot engage the way politicians can engage. You know, the politicians, because the arena that they move in is such that they can react immediately. Hindi naman yun ang arena na dinesign sa amin eh. Pag ginawa namin yung ginagawa ng mga ibang sektor, hindi na po kami karapat-dapat na huwes. So, ang tingin ko po, tama po ang sinabi ko about dignified silence.
Sereno vows to change the perception that justice delayed is the norm through modernization of the judiciary. She says the judiciary is targeting the creation of 500 volunteer courts by 2016 to target the backlog of cases. She also says dispute mediation will be aggressively pursued as a form of resolution.
But now the judges are telling me that they are just so hopeful because their dreams for a modern and sophisticated, speedy, accessible system is now coming true. That is what I hope that you can share, the dream, one dream I hope you can all share with me about. Now, this will mean that we will no longer be wasting a lot of time in postponements. Unless these are acts of God, we do not allow postponements simply because one lawyer suffers a stomach problem, which is the usual case that you are encountering now. If we are going to make this come alive, then the national government must give us the necessary support for this to come about. We have 25 this year who will begin conducting a continuous trial. If we can hit 100 courts by next year, that will already be a fundamental change of the landscape. By the end of 2016, maybe we can have about 500 courts participating in a continuous trial system. If it becomes the norm,
After saying he's open to a second term, President Benigno Aquino now says he sees himself stepping down in 2016. In a radio interview Thursday, Aquino says his priority is to ensure the administration's programs continue. He says he would, quote, listen to his bosses regarding a second term. Asked where he envisions himself after 2 years, however, Aquino says he sees himself out of office. Aquino also admits the administration is consulting sectors for now to find out public sentiment on the issue. The Philippine economy grows 6.4% in the second quarter of 2014, the second fastest in Asia after China. After a 5.6% growth in the first quarter of the year, Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan says the Philippine economy is, quote, back on the higher trajectory of growth. He cites the strong performance of the industry and services sectors that helped offset lower government spending. The latest figures bring growth for the first half of 2014 to 6%. Balisacan says he's optimistic the Philippines will reach its target growth of 6.5% to 7.5% for the whole year. The Philippine economy grew 6.8% in 2012 and 7.2% in 2013. For the 7th straight year, shopping mall tycoon Henry C. is the wealthiest Filipino, with a net worth of $12.7 billion or 555.3 billion pesos. The 89-year-old C keeps the top spot in Forbes magazine's The Philippines 50 Richest list for 2014. His worth increased by $700 million from last year, thanks largely to the rising share prices of his mall and banking businesses. Tobacco tycoon Lucio Tan retains his second-place ranking with a net worth of $6.1 billion or 267 billion pesos, while port and casino tycoon Enrique Razon Jr. climbs up to third place with a net worth of $5.2 billion or 227.3 billion pesos. The collective wealth of the 50 richest people in the Philippines reached $74 billion in 2014, up 12% from $65.8 billion in 2013. Forbes says this year's list reflected two driving forces in the Philippine economy: construction and consumption. International Monetary Fund Chief Christine Lagarde is charged with negligence over a multi-million euro graft case during her time as French finance minister. This comes after a special court that probes ministerial misconduct questioned Lagarde for more than 15 hours. Lagarde says she has been placed under formal investigation, the nearest equivalent to being charged in France. The case involves the handling of a 400 million euro or $527 million state payout to disgraced French tycoon Bernard Tapie in 2008. Investigating judges say the payout may have been given to reward Tapie's support of ex-President Nicolas Sarkozy in the 2007 election. A human rights group says ISIS, or the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, executed dozens of fleeing Syrian soldiers. On Thursday, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says the latest killings took place in the northern province of Raqqa. The victims were fleeing towards government-held territory to the west after the jihadists overran their base at Taqba. The jihadists even boasted on Twitter they killed 200 defeated troops. This is the latest in a string of brutal abuses by the jihadist group. News of the killings come as U.S. President Barack Obama considers airstrikes on ISIS bases in Syria. The group recently beheaded American journalist James Foley in retaliation for limited U.S. military intervention. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 5, the World Health Organization, or WHO, says climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a health issue too. The UN agency begins a 3-day conference to look at how climate change poses a health threat. The WHO says extreme weather and rising temperatures could kill thousands and spread disease. An additional 250,000 lives could be lost every year between 2030 and 2050, with poorer nations continuing to bear the brunt. At number 6, a 9-year-old girl taking gun lessons accidentally kills her instructor in a shooting range in Arizona Monday. 39-year-old instructor Charles Vaca was teaching the young girl how to shoot an Uzi submachine gun in fully automatic mode, but the girl could not control the recoil of the gun, accidentally shooting Vaca in the head. Authorities say the girl will not be charged for the death. And at number 10, Sanrio reveals global pop icon Hello Kitty is actually not a cat, but a little girl. What's more, Kitty is not Japanese, but British and has a twin sister named Mimi. While die-hard fans probably knew this all along, these details are revealed before the launch of an art exhibit celebrating 40 years of Kitty Mania. The exhibit's curator says she received stern direction from Sanrio to make it clear that Kitty was a girl and not a cat. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Hollywood power couple Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt are married. The Associated Press reports a spokesman for the couple says the two tied the knot Saturday in France. Jolie and Pitt announced their engagement in April last year after an 8-year relationship. They have 6 children: Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, and twins Vivian and Knox. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel, and your vote comes down to the Mood Navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories with the most clicks. Let's check out today's Mood Navigator. A look at the Mood Navigator shows 4 different colors. Let's start with this green circle on the right. This actually is a story from yesterday. Recovering Miriam might run for president has 94% of readers feeling happy, 3% amused, and 2% are annoyed. Over to the left, this story is actually from today's newscast. Henry C., still the Philippines' richest, has 27% of people feeling angry, while 29% say they're amused. Another 20% are inspired. And right in the middle, a big purple circle. This is actually a video filmed by the Rappler social media team wherein they taste test American junk food. This has 12% of people feeling annoyed, 6% say they don't care, while 75% feel annoyed. All these stories contribute to the mood of the day. Today, most people are annoyed. That's Rappler's newscast for today, Thursday, August 28, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel in our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Natasha Gutierrez. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Maria Lourdes Sereno, Chief Justice of the Republic of the Philippines.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that we can take this occasion for me to be able to share with you a vision of the future in the judiciary that awaits the Filipino public.